welcome back. So here we are today. Going to be working on the wife's van. It's got a bit of an issue with the intake manifold gasket being causing a leak. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that today. Take you along with me. See, if you look down there, see all that crud, especially down there. Makes it a little difficult. It's not in a great, easily accessible spot there. But there's definitely leakage going on, and it is causing a rough idle. Well, it's causing a vacuum leak, and it's also causing a very rough idle condition when we exit a freeway after a long period of driving. I've gone through, I've changed the plugs, I've changed the wires, changed the coil pack, cleaned out the throttle body, done a half dozen other things, and it seems to get better, but it's still a problem. And on top of that, it is losing coolant quite a bit. So I finally tracked this down. I'm going to go ahead and take care of it today. First thing I'm going to do here is we're going to pull out the fuel pump fuse, and get that out of the way. What I'm going to do is start the car up, and then let the fuel run out, so that way all the pressure is released, because I'm going to have to take off that fuel line down here, and I don't want it spraying everywhere. So I'm going to take off the gas cap and start the van up and let that go. All right, so here I am going to take off the battery cable. Yes, I do have gloves on. Say what you want, but man, it sure makes cleanup a lot easier. Now we're going to move on over here. Going to start, actually I think I'm going to take the coil pack off and start getting everything removed from off this upper intake plenum, including the air box, so we can start getting this all off. There we go. All right, as you can see, we've got the coil pack off, got the EGR pipe off, the tube, I think that's another crankcase tube, another one there. Got the intake tube from the filter to the throttle body taken off. Plugs, electrical plugs removed. Now it's time to get this upper plenum off. Looks like there's just 8 bolts going in there. And take those off. We'll get this upper plenum off, and then we can see what we're looking at from the after that. But first, I have to get a ratchet. One casualty so far. So we got this upper plenum off. So you can see, finally got that down. Exposed the fuel rail here, all the injectors. We did have one casualty of my gorilla-ness here, but whatever, it'll work. So I gotta take care of the fuel line. I gotta get all these injectors unplugged, get that fuel rail off. All these other electrical connectors here, the engine harness taken care of. I am noticing a lot of, I don't know, junk inside those runners on this manifold, including up here in the upper manifold. I don't know. Gonna need to take a look at that, clean that out a little bit. See what's going on. I like to think I have a pretty good handle on things, but every once in a while I get stumped, which is why I keep this handy. I'm trying to figure out how to get this fuel injector out, the plugs off of the injectors. So here we go. Let's see how this works. And I finally have all the injectors unplugged, got the fuel rail disconnected, fuel line off, got this plug harness thing unbolted from the intake manifold down there, you see there. About ready to pull this thing off, with the exception of got to get this radiator hose off, which means I need to drain the cooling system, which is what I will do next. All right, cooling is draining. I was going to show you the plug. I guess it's called a petcock. It's not at the bottom, but it's our second casualty of the day. Right there. Guess I'm gonna have to get that out soon. Very blurry. There we go. Oh boy, that's fun. All right, well, here we go. Time to take this lower intake manifold off and get working on cleaning off those head mating surfaces. So, through careful use of this grabber tool, I was able to salvage this out of the drain pan. Probably wasn't supposed to pull it all the way out, but I did anyway. So now I'm going to put it back in so I can remove that drain from under the van, keep any animals from drinking whatever coolant is in there. I think it's mostly water at this point in time. And then we continue on to the manifold. Got all bolts out. There's some tricky ones down there. It's kind of a mess, but got them all out. And now it's time to see what's going on here. Ooh, it does not sound good. We'll take a look. As you can see, there's a whole lot of crud in this little valley here. You take that screw out and that screw out, and that should take care of getting this out. I want to look down there, get a view of those intake valves, just see what's going on. But I would say I found the culprit for the coolant leak. I don't like that. Oh boy. Well, let's see. Well, right now, what I'm going to do is clean up. I got the intake ports blocked off a bit. I need to pick up my tools and gently close this hood and get cleaned up, because tonight I gotta pick up my wife from work and we're going out for a date. My wife and I, not the car. Well, we're going in the car. Anyway, time to clean up. Welcome to another bright sunny day here in Southeast Texas. Not so much. Got to get back to work on the van. I'm working on cleaning up these cylinder head mating surfaces. I'm gonna have to take some cleaner after those, plug up the intake ports and go after it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. Got the old gasket out. It's I don't know, it's a mess. But there's a bunch of this flaky stuff on here. You can see this metal has a coating on it, and that's been flaking off, so I have to get all that off of everything before I put the new one on. All right, so here we are 5 hours later, finally getting back to this van. I cleaned off that cylinder head as well as I could. Pretty good on there. Now I need to put here some RTV, put the new filter gasket on, put the intake manifold on, torque it all down, and get going. Got the manifold back on. Just a few more steps, we'll get this thing running. All right, well, a couple hours later, got everything together. Waiting for the RTV to seal for the gasket, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fill her up with coolant, start it up, see what happens. Right now it's cleanup time, so catch y'all later. Thanks for watching. All right, I gave it some time to set the RTV, that is. Put some coolant in it. Got a little bit of water going in it right now. There's no leftover parts that I can see. So I'm gonna give her a shot, get her started. Watch for flying parts. Okay, well, take two. The initial startup was not very good because, once again, I had plug wires messed up. Here we go. See if it starts idling a little bit lower soon here. See what we got. There we go. Looking pretty good. Sounding pretty good. Idle is going down. I'm gonna check out that fluid. Looks like we may be doing okay, but don't want to toot my horn too early. I can already tell that the idle is about 200 RPM lower. Still working on getting everything out of all the bubbles out of the cooling system. But so far it looks and sounds a lot better. We'll just see how it keeps going. Got a few more things to take care of. And hopefully at least that intake manifold gasket is not one of them. The lower RPM would be a result of no more vacuum leak. So I hope that's taken care of. It looks like it is. Looks like everything is nice and sealed up. So, hope for the best. Well, got one thing fixed. Only to find out we still have a problem. Gah. I gotta figure out where that leak's coming from. Looks like the heater hose going to the rear. Ugh. Well, guess next time.